Hello, students. Welcome to English 302. So if you're watching this video, you've already watched my welcome video. This video is much more about the nuts and bolts of the course. So you'll notice that this is not Blackboard and this is not Canvas. This is Schoology. I apologize for confusing you with another course management system. However, hopefully you all will appreciate this from a design perspective, which is something we'll be talking about within business communications. So this is what our course looks like. Navigating our course is pretty simple. From your account, which you will have created by now and you have access to, I'm probably your only Schoology course. You'll go to courses and it will take you here. This is our course landing page. This is literally everything in our course right here. These are the materials. To start our course, you're going to click start here, but you'll notice everything for project 1 here, project 2, project 3, project 4, final reflections, lectures and readings are here, and discussion are here. On the left, you'll notice there's a grade book here. And then on the right, you'll notice the calendar here. So all of that stuff is together. Let's go into start here. In here, you'll find a lot of information, the syllabus, the introduction videos of one you're watching, the discussion schedule, the YouTube page, upload instructions, Google Docs, Schoology help, the cyber cafe, and then any writing resources. So I want to start by going over the syllabus, and I think that's exactly what's going to take probably the most time in this class. And I'm going to open this up in a new tab so that we have one document. So this is our syllabus. This is business writing. I'm Paulette Stevenson. If you need to meet with me, these are my office hours. I'm on campus on Wednesdays and I am online on Thursdays. If you are not on campus, on the Tempe campus on Wednesdays, you can also get in contact with me online. My office is there. The best way for you to reach me is online or via email. This is an online class, so I'm sure you all are super familiar with that. If you would like to do a video conference with me, I use Skype. So we just have to set that up most of the time during my office hours, but a lot of times you have different availability, so I can set something up outside of there. You just have to send me an email. So I talked about the course a little bit more as business writing and some of the objectives I talked about in the welcome video, so I won't get too much into that. I really want to focus on the nuts and bolts here. This is a completely online course. This course is an A session course, so it ends on October 5th. So we're stretching the 16 weeks into 7.5. And you're required to buy the textbook. It's pretty inexpensive. You're required to have and check your ASU email account. You're required to have a YouTube account via ASU or your Gmail account. So if you're like, what? I don't know. There's a lot of information on how to have that. The main thrust of what you'll be doing is you'll at least be uploading 2 videos there this semester. After the semester is over, you are 100% welcome to delete the videos from your YouTube account, but you'll need to do that. You'll need access to Schoology, so again, you'll have to create an account. I suggest all my students to make sure you write down and remember your password. You might even do a repeat of what your ASU write is. Again, I don't want to tell you what your password should be, but definitely simplify it so that you're not mid-semester going, what is this password? And then you also need video/screen recording capability. I know I have a Mac, and in my Mac, QuickTime allows me to screen record, and that's really helpful. I don't have to pay anything extra or do anything funky with it. So our course, the assignments are broken down like this. The first 4 are what I would call major assignments: a report, a memo, a video that you put together, which is kind of our way of doing a presentation, and then a website. You have 6 discussions worth 3 points each. You have rough drafts for all of those major projects at 2 points each. And then you have peer reviews where we review each other's work at 1 point for each unit. And then you have a final reflection. So pretty simple stuff, major projects, but also a bunch of process work, so that maybe you're going for an A in the class and you don't do as well on one of the projects. You can always bring that up by making sure you're doing all of the discussions. The next things are FAQs. I would encourage you to read through those because they're what I would call the most asked questions in this class. So one of the things in another video I go through is the discussions. We have 6 discussions throughout the 7.5 weeks, and 5 of them are pretty standard, but they ask you there's roles that are assigned for you. So they're a little bit different than how other instructors I know have conducted discussions, but this is what I would call your day-to-day work in class. And so that's the next video that you're going to watch after this, is how the discussions work in this class, because they're a little bit different. So getting down to the policies, one of the more important one is the policy on attendance. As an online course and a writing programs course, you are allowed to miss 4 absences, but some of you might be fuzzy as to what an absence consists of in an online course. So what that means is that you did not post work for that day. So if, for instance, tomorrow you were a discussion leader and you were supposed to post your lead video and you never did it, along with not receiving the points for that assignment, you also receive an absence for that day. So more than 4 of those will result in a failure. So on your 5th absence. In an online class, it's pretty simple to know when you're absent. It's when you take a 0 for your work, okay? And so there's not a such thing as an excused absence. So you're not excused from any work. It's just that you're allowed to miss these things. Now, a lot of times in an online class, students don't want to miss these things because they also are tied to points. But you could imagine in a face-to-face class, someone missing a day and it not being a big deal. So keep that in mind. My department fails you for more than 4 absences. So you want to stay on top of your work in this class. If you're watching this video, the number 2 policy is silly because you've already attended this class. Our grading are full letter grades. And then everything that you write for this class is considered quote unquote public. By public, I mean public for the classroom, not public for the internet. So our classroom is protected and private. In terms of late work, I do not accept it. You're responsible for completing your course materials online and on time. You're responsible for dealing with technology issues and getting everything up by the due date. You signed up for this 7.5 week class and it goes by quickly and it's a lot of work, but you signed up for this. So I don't accept late work. There are extenuating circumstances that when students email me beforehand, I can make exceptions for, but for the most part, I don't accept late work. So keep that in mind on 2 levels, on the absence level and on the late work thing. So if at the 4th week of the semester I send you an email and say, hey, you are missing like 4 assignments already and you're about to fail the class on the next one, I am not going to allow you to make up those 4 assignments, if that makes sense. So it's not about going back and making up what you didn't do. It could be a situation where a student needs an extra day on an assignment because they had a death in the family. And you email me that personally and we deal with that. So that's something to think about. Some of these policies are policies that have less to do with me saying out loud, but something that you should read. So I'm not going over the syllabus in 100% detail. So definitely deal with those on your own. So this is what our schedule looks like. I schedule assignments for basically almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday due dates. So you'll notice that first day, read all this stuff, watch this lecture, and do this introduction discussion. It's the only discussion besides the extra credit one where there's only one due date. On Monday, August 20th, you're going to read all these things, and then the leaders, which there'll be 5 or 6 of them, will post to this first discussion. Now, how do you know what your role is? When you go into materials, it's listed in 2 places. Under Start Here, there's a discussion schedule. I realize right now it is blank because our class isn't populated right now. But you will it'll say Discussion 1, Leaders, Linkers, Repliers. Discussion 2, Leaders, Linkers, Repliers. And so it'll be, after the drop add day, it'll be filled out for the entire semester so that you know your role already. But you're required for every discussion to basically participate once, depending upon your role. So if you were a leader for Discussion 1, you will read this material and post your leader video. I encourage students to go back and read what their classmates wrote, especially as a leader. It's really interesting to see how the discussion went. I'll reference those discussions in my wrap-up videos. Also note that if you're a linker and a replier, you are also required to read what's going on here. So everybody basically reads the assignment, the stuff for the discussion. And then the leaders start us off, and the linkers and the repliers get to continue that conversation. So you'll notice under here, the discussion tab will open that up, and those are basically all the discussions for the semester. Okay. A discussion you'll go into. So this is the first one. The leaders will post the links to their video right here, and then the repliers and the linkers will reply to those links after they have read the material and watched the videos. Okay. So all online work is due before midnight on the day listed. Do all the stuff before completing the assignment. So if there's a reading to do and also an assignment on the same day, right? The leaders videos. If you're a leader, do the reading and then post your video. If you're not a leader, your job is to still read all that stuff. And so I want to go into one of the project folders so you see how this looks. So in the project folders, there's a lot of resources. They will most often start off with an assignment sheet to kind of lay out in depth what the project is. On project 1, you have a topic proposal that's due. Right here is a link. It's a Google Drive folder that'll open up. That's where you put in your rough draft. This is a document that lays out questions and ways I want you to peer review the project when it's time to do that. And then the rubric right here is kind of is the exact document that I'm going to use to grade your final project. And there is where you turn to final project 1. Most of all of the other folders look almost entirely the same. Okay. The other folder that you want to take a look at are the lectures and the readings. So some of the readings on the syllabus are also listed here. Some of them are linked on the syllabus, so you don't necessarily need those, but some of them aren't linked on the syllabus, so they're PDFs. The lectures are here as well. So there are 6 lectures that are assigned throughout the syllabus. And then the final folder is for the final reflections. So it'll have the assignment sheet and the final reflection stuff there. So this is our online course. It's pretty simple. It sometimes looks complicated because it's a lot shoved into 7.5 weeks. But once you go through one unit, the second one kind of looks the same. So once you go through project 1, project 2 looks the same. These online courses that fit into 7.5 weeks take a lot of time management and a lot of commitment to staying on task. And so that's something that I want to make you aware of. The other thing I want to make you aware of is that students who have technology issues are not allowed an extension most often, unless it's like a whole, like Schoology goes down or something, right? Schoology, because we're using this, we have the benefit of not having to deal with any ASU-wide outages, which are probably good this semester because they're switching, they're in between the process of using Canvas, which is a new learning management system. If you're having problem uploading your stuff and you say you need extra time, there's a good chance that I say, you should have done this sooner. However, if Schoology goes down for like a couple of hours on the night that something's due, I will send out an email and give everyone extra time. So that is my lesson in saying that if you've never taken an online course before, do your work early and turn it in early, as opposed to, and when I say early, it doesn't have to be weeks early, but as opposed to doing it 2 minutes before the midnight deadline and having your computer crash, do it at like 8 o'clock so that if something does happen, you have 4 hours to fix it, right? If, we could still be dealing with monsoon season as this course starts. If the power goes out at your house, for instance, you could drive, and the conditions are good, you can drive down the street to a Starbucks that has power. This literally just happened to me a couple weeks ago, and you can complete your assignment. So, all right. So hopefully that explains the course. I did not go into the syllabus in 100% detail, so you'll want to make sure that you do that. But hopefully this all becomes a little bit more clear as you go through it. Oh, the final thing I want to mention is that the Cyber Cafe, there are 2 extra credit assignments. There's a discussion board at the end. But the Cyber Cafe is also something you get extra credit for. And so students who participate on this, whether you're asking a question or answering a question, will get extra credit at the end of the semester. But it has to be authentic and not like the last day of class you posted something on here, if that makes sense. So this is your chance to ask general questions to the class. So if something is really just not clear to you and you're not understanding something really general that everyone else that might get, it could be how to upload a video to YouTube. It could be how to do something on Google Docs. It could be, where is this thing? The kind of questions you would ask a classmate before or after class, post them here, right? I will monitor this, but I also encourage you all to answer the questions. I will answer questions that go unanswered after a while. Finally, though, if you have a specific question about your personal grade or your personal situation, absolutely send me an email. But if it's something general in the class, I want you to post it on the Cyber Cafe because most likely it'll help someone else out too. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get this course started. I'm really excited. The next things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to finish watching the rest of these introduction videos. So the one on discussions, and then look at these sample leader videos. And then from there, you can figure out what discussion role you have in the first discussion and start participating. And again, like I said, the introduction discussion is unique. But after that, discussion 1 and throughout, you'll have specific roles. So have a good rest of your day and looking forward to the class.